How's everybody doing today? We're 17 weeks out now, I believe 18 weeks out from Raw Nationals in Atlanta, Georgia. Missed the train update last week. I was just really busy, so I apologize for that. I'm trying not to make that a habit. Training's going really good so far. No complaints. Had little aches and pains there accumulated up last week. A little bit in the knees, I think, from the high squat volume. But that really has actually subsided pretty much entirely. And I actually modified some of my accessory work to reduce squatting, in hopes to nip that in the bud a little bit quicker. And it still sort of lingered, and actually doing more squats actually seemed to get things feeling better. So that's all going really well right now. Body weight is sitting at 193.8 as of yesterday morning, at about 15% body fat. A little bit higher than I'd like to be. I need to, the 83 kilogram weight class sets me at 182.6, so roughly 12 pounds, or just, 13 and a half pounds over my contest weight, and really I won't really let anything get any heavier than this, so I'm carrying a little bit more body fat than maybe what I would like, but in powerlifting, it's not a beauty pageant, it's not a physique show, so it really doesn't matter how much body fat you're carrying, so I'm not really going to stress too much about that. And realistically, looking at my numbers, I've got numbers tracked all the way back to March of 2015, and over the last couple of weeks have been carrying the largest amount of lean body mass that I have historically, not by a huge margin, but by half pound to pound, depending on the given day that I'm looking at the readings on. So pretty happy with that, and as a whole, training has been going well. The volume's been creeping up gradually. Bench press training has been feeling really, really good, really confident with that, where that's at this far out. Squat training as well has been feeling really well. Deadlifts up until the last week were just always feeling heavy. I mean, I was getting the work and then I needed to get in that I had in my plan, but it just felt heavier than I would have preferred it to feel. But this last Friday, actually, things started to feel a little bit better, and I think I left a little bit in the tank, just trying to keep some positive momentum going forward. And so that's good. No complaints with how training's going, and I feel like I'm in a really good spot right now. Next 2 weeks will be interesting as I try to accumulate more and more volume here over the next 3 weeks, so this last little stretch before I take another deload, as I'll be out of town the next 2 weekends, family vacation this next weekend, and the following weekend business conference. So my training weeks are going to get cut 1 day short each of those days, so I'm going to somehow have to try to squeeze a whole day's worth of training volume into the remaining 4 days. So roughly we're looking 30 to 35,000 pounds of volume, additional spread out over 4 days. So we'll see how I can do to make that happen. I'll probably just throw in some lighter main movement. So after I get my main work done for the day at the very end, I'll probably just throw in some extra sets of squats, bench press, deadlifts, and just knock out as many as I can to try to accumulate more volume and keep that climbing as we end this block in the next 3 weeks. So that's all good. I want to talk real quick or touch on expectations. Several weeks back, I think it was maybe the second video that I posted on this journey to nationals, talked a little bit about, sort of what I was hoping to achieve with like a 1,400 pound raw total and going 9 for 9, and no real big expectations of placing super, super high or anything. And I still, ultimately in powerlifting, you can't control your competitor. It's not like some sports where you're directly able to impact the decisions and the moves that your competitors make. So it's a little bit different, but in a conversation with my younger brother several weeks back, I found out that he's going to be coming with me to Atlanta to sort of be a support system, since the wife and kids will be at home with a newborn, and it'll be a quick round trip there to lift and right back home. But I mentioned sort of to him, that I wasn't expecting to play super high or anything, and he said, not with that attitude, and not to say that, your mind, if you just want to do something, you can do whatever you want, but there's probably something to that comment. So I'm not going to count myself out either. I mean, all it takes is a few people getting a little bit too aggressive with the temp selections, injuries, whatever. So anything can happen meet day. So, I'm going to continue to follow the plan and work as hard as I can and get everything dialed in here and be ready to go come October 14th. And if things line up right and things are feeling good that day, then who knows, anything could happen. So we'll continue to push here going forward. Now that the weight is really about as high as I really want to let it climb, I don't want to drop a substantial amount of weight and have to really diet hard while trying to gain strength and peak at the end. So the calories will sort of hover now, probably anywhere from 3,500 to 4,000 for the next 1 to 2 months, and then once we get into probably the beginning of September, we'll start to sort of dial things back a little bit and let the weight start to slowly drop as we go into October. Thanks for touching base here, and we'll keep you guys posted here next week. Thanks, have a great one.